a time, in ancient times, Cleopatra was born as the daughter of Pharaoh Ptolemy X I Ioletes and his wife Cleopatra V Tryphena. When she was born, it was clear that she was very smart and had a special way about her that made her stand out from other kids. Growing up in Alexandria, a hub of culture and knowledge, Cleopatra reveled in the rich tapestry of education provided to her. Her father, recognizing her brilliance and potential, ensured that she received an exceptional education, equal to that of any royal male heir. Cleopatra was tutored in philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, and various languages, including Greek, Latin, and Egyptian. The young princess was particularly fascinated by Egyptian history and mythology, captivated by the tales of powerful pharaohs and mighty gods. She immersed herself in the sacred rites and age-old mysteries of the land, cultivating a deep connection to her Egyptian heritage that would shape her reign. As Cleopatra approached adolescence, she witnessed firsthand the turbulent nature of her family's dynasty. Palace intrigues and power struggles were commonplace, as various family members vied for control over Egypt's throne. These experiences instilled in Cleopatra a keen awareness of the fragile balance between power and loyalty. Cleopatra's relationship with her father, however, was marred by his weaknesses and erratic behavior. Ptolemy X II's reign was marked by financial mismanagement and political strife, which left Egypt vulnerable to external threats. Cleopatra, even in her youth, understood the weight of responsibility that would one day be thrust upon her shoulders. Tragically, Cleopatra's idyllic childhood came to an abrupt end when her father passed away, leaving her and her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, to rule jointly as co-regents. The challenges of sovereignty at such a young age weighed heavily on Cleopatra, as she felt the weight of expectations and the looming cloud of an uncertain future. It was during this formative period that Cleopatra's resilience, intelligence, and political acumen began to shine through. She actively sought to gain the support and loyalty of the Egyptian people, utilizing her natural charm and wit to win their favor. Cleopatra's determination to protect and restore Egypt's glory fueled her ambitions and propelled her towards the throne. Power struggles with her siblings. Cleopatra's rise to power was fraught with internal power struggles, mainly with her siblings. Her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, upon assuming the throne as co-ruler, felt threatened by Cleopatra's charisma and intellect. He saw her as a rival and sought to assert his authority. The power struggle between Cleopatra and her brother reached its climax when Ptolemy XIII and his advisors attempted to seize the control of the royal palace. Cleopatra was forced to escape from Egypt, leaving behind her young son. She returned later with an army from Julius Caesar's support and regained power. Julius Caesar and Cleopatra. The fateful encounter between Cleopatra and Julius Caesar can be described as a collision of two powerful forces. In the dazzling court of Alexandria, Cleopatra, with her radiant charm and intellect, sought to secure the support of the mighty Roman Empire. It was during this time that she first crossed paths with Caesar. Cleopatra, aware of the allure her presence held, devised a daring plan to meet the esteemed conqueror. Disguised as a beguiling enchantress, she embarked upon a clandestine mission to infiltrate his chambers. With every step, her heart quickened as she knew that this encounter could alter the course of their lives. When Cleopatra finally stood before Julius Caesar, their chemistry ignited like the spark of divine intervention. Her mesmerizing beauty, coupled with her sharp intellect, enchanted Caesar, and left an indelible mark upon his heart. The affair that blossomed between them transcended borders and defied conventions, thrusting Cleopatra into the heart of Roman politics. Political intrigues in Rome following her return to power, Cleopatra's country became embroiled in the ongoing power struggles within Rome. She aligned herself with Julius Caesar to protect her kingdom from possible Roman aggression and to secure her position on the Egyptian throne. The alliance between Cleopatra and Julius Caesar drew strong opposition from many in Rome who viewed her influence on Caesar as a threat to the Roman Republic's stability. Her relationship with Caesar led to tensions within the state, culminating in his assassination. Mark Antony and Cleopatra. Following the tragic demise of Julius Caesar, Cleopatra found solace and unyielding passion in the arms of Mark Antony, a renowned Roman general. Their union became the stuff of legends, a tempestuous love affair that would forever shape the destinies of empires. Cleopatra's seductive powers worked their magic on Mark Antony. Captivated by her beauty and intelligence, Antony became ensnared in a web woven by the Queen of Egypt. Together, they reveled in an extravagant life, marked by lavish parties, indulgent displays of wealth, and a passion that knew no bounds. It was during this time that Cleopatra's influence reached its zenith. She leveraged her connection with Mark Antony to secure important political alliances, expand Egypt's influence, and consolidate her power. Together, they formed a formidable duo, a force to be reckoned with in the tumultuous landscape of ancient Rome. However, their love story would ultimately lead to their downfall. The romance between Cleopatra and Mark Antony threatened the ambitions of Octavian, Caesar's adopted heir. Octavian sought to consolidate his own power and viewed Cleopatra as a threat to Rome. In the midst of political maneuvering and military conflicts, Cleopatra and Mark Antony would meet their tragic fate. The death of Cleopatra is an event after the defeat of her lover, Mark Antony, in the Battle of Actium against Octavian, later Emperor Augustus. Cleopatra found herself in a precarious situation. Fearing capture and humiliation by the Romans, she sought refuge in the mausoleum where her father, Ptolemy XI, was buried. According to the ancient Roman historian Plutarch, Cleopatra's death was preceded by a series of events. When Octavian's forces arrived in Egypt after the battle, Cleopatra sent messengers to negotiate with him. Despite her attempts to secure her position, Octavian demanded her surrender. Realizing her fate was sealed, Cleopatra began to make arrangements for her own demise. The most famous account of Cleopatra's death comes from the writings of the Roman historian Dio Cassius. He states that Cleopatra was devastated by Antony's death and decided to take her own life. Laden with gold and jewels, she retreated to her mausoleum, which was guarded by her loyal servant, Charmian, and another lady in waiting, Iris. Cleopatra sent a letter to Octavian, requesting to be buried next to Antony. However, Octavian, seeing her death as a way to solidify his control over Egypt and dampen any potential rebellion, ignored her plea. Dio Cassius further describes how Cleopatra devised her suicide plan. With a venomous snake, known as an asp, smuggled in a basket of figs, Cleopatra planned to end her life. According to Plutarch, Cleopatra tested the venom on a slave and observed its effects to ensure it would bring about a painless death. She then prepared for her final moments. Cleopatra, dressed in her royal garments, and, with Charmian and Iris by her side, she reclined on a golden couch. As she held the asp to her breast, the snake bit her, delivering a fatal dose of venom. Cleopatra's death was said to be swift, and she passed away peacefully. After her death, her body was embalmed in the Egyptian tradition. Cleopatra was then buried alongside Antony in her mausoleum. The exact location of their tomb remains unknown to this day, as it has never been discovered. It is important to note that there are alternative theories surrounding Cleopatra's death. Some suggest that she was murdered on Octavian's orders, or that she consumed poison rather than being bitten by a snake. However, these theories lack strong evidence and are not as widely accepted as the suicide account. Cleopatra's death marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty and the reign of Greek pharaohs in Egypt. Her legacy as a powerful and influential leader, as well as her romantic entanglements with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, continue to capture the imagination of people around the world.